In this video, I want to talk about the philosopher Dennett. He passed away 3 weeks ago, and he was a philosopher of mind. A big shot, a big philosopher, wrote many books. I used to think about him as the philosopher of mind who thinks that consciousness is an illusion, but I have to say that he's a much deeper thinker than this might sound. I wish I could understand more of his philosophy. I think he has very deep points about how the mind works. And in one of his most recent videos, which I'm posting right here, probably maybe his last video actually, he's speaking about a very interesting issue. He's speaking about the fact that philosophers very often ignore the details of how biology works, how scientific theories actually understand how things work, neuroscience, chemistry. Imagine you are a philosopher of mind and you're interested in phenomena like when photons enter our retina and are transformed in neural signals. From this, a conscious image of a visual field emerges. It's a big mystery. And philosophers obviously talk about it a lot, and there are many different theories in philosophy. One is basically dualism, that there is a separate entity called consciousness, almost like a soul, which is detached from the physical body. Other philosophers are saying, no, it's all the product of neural firings. But what Daniel is saying is that very often these philosophers don't ask the question, how exactly do neurons produce these phenomena? Whether or not it's a separate entity or not, it's important to understand what scientists are actually saying. What do neuroscientists say about it? And he said that this is changing, that nowadays philosophers are much more engaged in understanding actual science and are trying to really give answers not only on a philosophical level, like, oh, this is just a product of neural firings. And then when someone asks, so how exactly do neural firings produce consciousness? Then the philosopher would say, oh, that's not my department anymore, right? Now philosophers are trying to actually answer these questions in collaboration with neuroscientists. And the reason this catches my attention is that I see the same pattern among mathematicians. We are very often detached from the real world, from those areas in science where mathematics is actually applied and is very relevant. We, as mathematicians, very often find ourselves in floating in this abstract realm of mathematical structures and infinite limits and constructions and whatnot. And we forget that these things very often are either motivated by practical problems or could be used in practical problems, or even better for mathematicians, sometimes we can find very interesting mathematical structure if we try to analyze some real-world phenomena. I myself, I'm very lucky to work with roboticists and with cognitive scientists and with philosophers, because I want to really develop mathematics which models things in an informed way. Not just, oh, I decided to make a model of human mind, a mathematical model, but hey, if I'm not aware of where is philosophy of mind going today, if I'm not aware of how roboticists are modeling the same thing, right? They're trying to make an artificial brain for a robot, so they probably have some insight into this. So who am I to say that mathematicians don't need any of that? Of course we need. And while doing so, I'm very often finding myself learning new mathematics that I wouldn't be learning otherwise. I find myself building mathematical theories that I wouldn't be able to build otherwise, because I get the inspiration from all these other sciences. This conversation is really important, and as Daniel says in this video, that scientists used to completely dismiss philosophy. They said, and I know these scientists, who say that, oh, philosophy is just, it's a bunch of BS because they're just in the clouds and they don't understand anything about real science and they just build their own philosophical theories. There's even a joke among mathematicians, actually, funnily enough, that there's only one difference between the mathematics department and the philosophy department. as we all know, in mathematics department, we don't need any technology. We don't need high-speed accelerators or anything. All we need in the mathematics department is a pen, a paper, and a rubbish bin. But in philosophy department, they don't even need the rubbish bin. And the joke is that whatever you write in philosophy is accepted, but in mathematics, we actually need to make things work. Well, yeah, maybe it's a funny joke, but it's a bad joke because it tells what's the attitude towards philosophy from other scientists like us, mathematicians included. And Daniel is saying that this attitude is changing because now philosophers are opening up the conversation. They're going into laboratories of chemists and biologists, and they're asking, what are you doing? How is it working? How can my philosophical theory be informed or help you to disentangle certain conceptual difficulties that you're having? And I wish mathematicians could be doing more of that. Going into robotics laboratories, going into physics laboratories, going into even like social sciences, anything, and asking, how can I help? What kind of mathematical theory could I develop so that it would be a new platform, a new foundation, new way of thinking in your area? And at the same time, how can I, as a mathematician, be informed by all these complex ideas that exist in biology, in chemistry, in robotics, to build new mathematical theorems and insights and package